Hello all and welcome to my presentation. I'll be talking about cloud-based ERP, the advantages and disadvantages. The graphic in this slide should look familiar. It's from week 1 of our course where we were talking about the relationship of enterprise system as a whole to ERP and other enterprise systems. So you can see that there's others such as CRM, Customer Relationship Management, SCM, Supply Chain Management, business intelligence analytics, EMR, electronic medical records, as well as ERP, which is enterprise resource planning. Most definitions will say enterprise resource planning is a business process management software that allows a company to use a system of integrated applications to manage their business and automate many back office functions related to technology, services, and human resources. Now, in our reading this week, we are reading about a company that's called Vinsun. It provides electrical and civil services across India, and they are going through the decisioning process of which vendor to choose for ERP, as well as what type of employment. And we'll talk about them a little bit later. Let's do a little bit of term clearing now. We've talked about ERP, enterprise resource planning, used for to get a better handle on your data management within your company. Now let's talk about cloud a little bit. Now, in the reading this week, we read about the company Vinsun, and I think it gives a pretty good overview about cloud. Cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to shared pool of configurable computing resources such as network, server, storage, application, and services. Now, it's usually three types of service models for cloud, and these are software as a service, SaaS, which we are mainly focused on in this presentation. And there's also PaaS, platform as a service, and also IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Now, with software as a service, you may be familiar with already some of the cloud-based applications that we're using, have been using throughout this course, such as Google Docs, or something like Office 365, or even you're using some type of backup where you're backing up your phone to some offsite or other provider that's managing that for you. So if your phone goes belly up, you're able to connect it to that provider and pull down the information or pull down your photos for that matter. So the point being that for a cloud-based application, it's not locally stored on your physical device. The data and storage is handled through a cloud provider, a cloud service provider, or vendor. Now, what does that mean when it comes to cloud-based ERP? Well, it's the same thought and principle in mind. So you have ERP application, and what's happening is that you have a cloud provider, ERP cloud provider, that is managing all aspects of that application for you, from maintenance to the day-to-day support of the application to the expertise that's on premise there, and etc. You know, the difference being versus the traditional ERP and cloud-based ERP is that one, you're managing yourself, which they call on-premise, and the other one is being managed by someone else, a cloud provider, which is not located within your data centers or your servers, but within your environment. Now, Vinsun, they were going through the same thing where they were trying to decide which deployment that they should do. And they were looking at the pros and cons or advantages or disadvantages. When we look at advantages and disadvantages, there's usually a couple that are key that folks look at, which is implementation, cost, care and feeding, and security. Now, in implementation, the advantage is that it is definitely will be faster because there's nothing you have to worry about in the way of hardware or software that you're having to implement to get you going. It's usually a subscription base, and once you have that subscription set up, you will access through your web-based portal or through the internet to access that application. Cost, again, it goes back to hardware, software. There's nothing you have to do on your side. You're leveraging the cloud provider of the application for those items as mentioned what cloud is. So services, application, network storage, and etc. So this is no upfront cost. Now there will be a monthly or annual subscription fee as mentioned earlier. So the upfront investment is a lot less. Now care and feeding. This is maintained by the service provider. You don't have a staff that is maintaining the servers, that's maintaining the storage, that's maintaining the software when it comes to maintenance and upgrades. You have the cloud provider that is doing that for you. So if you don't have a lot of staff, this may be a great opportunity to invest in software-based or cloud-based ERP. Security. Now this is a big one, a big concern for a lot of people. Now usually on the cloud or service provider, that security is usually up to the latest. And if you have concerns about the security, then you can hire a third party to audit to make sure the security is where you need it. Now disadvantages. Now along the same lines as far as implementation, the thing you lose out by having someone else do it, you have less control. Now on the software setup, and that comes to you as well as the customization. So it's less likely you're going to be able to customize to what you need. And if you need better alignment to your business processes, then having a cloud-based ERP solution may not be for you. Cost. Although the initial upfront cost it's a very low investment. You're not having to purchase hardware or software, servers, getting your network set up, getting your storage set up for this. However, over time, it may turn out that the monthly or annual subscription fee may match to what you actually have spent if you did the upfront investment of owning the software yourself, and all you're paying for really is the maintenance, annual maintenance for it. So it's something definitely to consider. Care and feeding. Although the maintenance software upgrades are maintained by the vendor, there's no control over the maintenance schedule or the window when it's done, which could mean potential business interruptions. So something definitely certainly to consider. Security. As I mentioned earlier, has been a big one for a lot of companies that is slow to adopt a public cloud solution. And the concern is usually data breaches or insider threat. What is the key takeaway here? Well, you got to do your homework. Such as thing as costs. And as you read in the article about Vinson, it was one of the things that they were very curious about. They had heard one thing, and the vendor was saying another, where the cost, yeah, it's maybe cheaper upfront, but in the long run, it may cost you more. So things definitely to research. And you also want to ensure that your business goals align with whatever cloud strategy that you're doing. So if your business goals require you to have more customization, then maybe a cloud-based solution is not for you and you need to have an on-premise implementation. And just to recap, here are some of the key drivers why folks would consider a cloud-based ERP solution. A smaller initial investment, faster implementation, no service maintenance costs, greater integration with other systems, greater accessibility in a dispersed environment, not having to worry about data backups, and then also, and this is probably a big one, if you don't have a lot of staff, your staff can focus on the things that they do best, which is bringing in more money for the company. Now that you've heard about some advantages and disadvantages about cloud-based ERP, my question for you this week is there an opportunity for your company to leverage the public cloud? And if so, why would you make the move or not make the move for a cloud-based solution? Thank you for your time and have a great day.